What is a party without chips and dip? And I love potato chips. But then my waist started telling me a different story. So I decided, well, I really like the crunch of the potato chips, but why not cut down on the calories? And I found these pita crisps a great way to satisfy the urge of eating chips. And I found a very interesting recipe for these pita crisps. Basically, you take the pita bread which you get in the regular grocery store and you add a little bit of seasoning, oil to it, and then bake it in the oven. Now, how do you make the seasoning oil? Let's get rolling. You heat the pan, add some oil to it, and we are going to take garlic. This is garlic which we are going to grate it right into it. And if you buy the garlic paste, please don't. Buy fresh garlic and grate it right there into the pan. And that is maximum flavor. The oil is getting hot and you wait for the garlic to roast in the oil. Raw garlic is quite strong, but when you roast it in oil as such, it gives a good flavor without being too strong. So I've added about 3 or 4 of these little paws. And then you let it roast. And the 2 spices that I add for this one is red chili powder. Now this is optional. If you don't want it, skip the red chili powder. And I like cumin powder. Cumin powder is ground cumin. You do get it in all grocery stores. Basically, when you see the garlic turning brown, turn it off, turn the heat off. Add the cumin powder and the red chili powder. And that is it. Now, take this, keep it aside, and take the pita bread with a little brush. Go ahead and brush it. And the best way to put it on top of each other. So what happens is this part also gets some oil. And we forgot the main ingredient which makes food tasty, and it is salt. So you can put it on top this way, just a little smidgen of salt. Okay, so you brush it such on all 6 of the pita bread, and then go ahead and cut it such. Cut it all the way through and go ahead and make little wedges such. Here, instead of putting red chili powder, you can go ahead and add basil, ground oregano, or you can just have it very plain and have no spices. Just smother it with a little bit of oil. Okay. And then what I would do is put it on a little baking pan. And after you put it on the baking pan, put it in the oven at 350 degrees for 15 minutes. And what you would get is, and I have my beautiful assistant Andrea to help me. Now here is the chips which are ready. Now let's have a nice dip. The dip is usually sour cream or some heavy whipping cream or something, but I decided to make this dip with yogurt, plain yogurt. And this is a recipe which I feel is the salad which we use for Indian cooking, but it's great as a dip too. So this is plain yogurt. And to that I add some tomatoes, some cucumber, a little bit of green onions. Now green onions is optional. A little bit of cumin powder and a twist of black pepper. Please use freshly ground bell pepper. Do not use ground black pepper which has been in the store for a long time, because it doesn't have much flavor that way. And you put a little bit of salt. And anytime you use some sour stuff, you want to give it a little balance with sugar, and this is a little bit of sugar. So this is a nice dip. That goes well with this pita bread. Okay, and then I go ahead and add it to the bowl. And just for decoration, what I do is I go ahead and line it with the tomatoes. Well, if food is interesting, everybody is tempted to eat. If it's bland and dull, you just don't feel the urge of trying. And a little bit of cucumber. And the final garnish of green onions. So here folks, a very easy recipe with pita bread that you get in the regular grocery store. I've made pita crisps with a yogurt dip. It is simply wonderful for your waist and your wallet.